Yeah. Okay, that's all I can play on the radio. You get the idea about today's topic. I'm Dr. Gabby. I am your writing coach for aspiring writers, and that was a little hint about what we're going to talk about today.
I am Jamie Nolan. I am a life and business coach and also the founder of the Anima Collective.
And also my partner in crime who always signs up for these shenanigans with me when I want to go on the internet and talk about things.
I mean, listen, I need shenanigans in my life. Who else is bringing me all the shenanigans but you?
You've been getting a lot more shenanigans lately than usual. I feel like we've turned the volume all the way up.
It's because we called in the shenanigans, and then it's literally coming in every area of my life. Shenanigans are just flowing in.
Maybe we should have told the universe which areas exactly where we wanted the shenanigans. What do you think?
I like how it's also affecting everyone else around us, the shenanigans. So tell us why we're here.
Okay. So we have a mutual friend that sent out a very saucy blog post this morning. Let's talk about sex, right? And she is a very divine goddess in her 60s who is very sexually active and happily expressing it in her blog. And she posted some questions that I think are really relevant to our conversation about aging, right? Yes. Some of these questions that she said are, why do some of us let our sexual pleasure fall by the wayside? Is it because the changes in our bodies make us ashamed? Have we let the emphasis on youth in our culture make us feel less? How do we continue to experience sexual intimacy right to the end? And this topic, I think, is really important. I have another client that's writing a book, and she's also in a graduate program around sexual health. And her belief and her methodology is around how sexual health is just as important as physical health, mental health, and how all of these things are connected. And that if you're neglecting one, you're not healthy in one area, or you're not receiving pleasure in one area, then it impedes or kind of pinches off the pleasure and the health and all the other areas. And I think this is an important conversation, even though we are on LinkedIn.
Hi, LinkedIn. I think it's a super important conversation, and I think it's a really interesting conversation. Like, me and you talked about it this morning, and we were like, how do we make this short in 5 minutes? And there's a whole there's the whole medical side of it. There's the entire, women's movement side of it. There's the entire patriarchy side of it. And there is just the day-to-day side of it of what do you believe and where did you get those beliefs from? And how do you change your mind about the bullshit that you were taught?
Yeah, about receiving pleasure, knowing what your desires are, owning those desires, communicating those desires, achieving those desires, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about it in the context of women that sometimes is particularly challenging because they didn't study our bodies and we don't know a lot of the changes that are happening. It's now becoming more kind of mainstream, I think, to talk about perimenopause and menopause, but all these things are still kind of dirty words, which I literally I cannot understand how these words about the body, about biology, about sexuality, I can't understand how there is so much stigma and so much, I don't know what, just drama.
Well, drama for no reason, and these whole entire stereotypes, right? This idea that men want way more sex than women, and meanwhile, most of the women I know want way more sex than most men. And then there's all this stuff where you're that's not true.
We just got a thumbs up. I don't know who gave us a thumbs up, but we got a thumbs up.
But it's true. There's so many times that you see the pieces where you're oh, this is what we were taught, and then you're actually, I know all these other people that doesn't resonate with.
Doesn't fit.
And it's okay, is this just did some dude just make this up in the 1800s and then we all just went with it? What does this mean?
Okay, so any thoughts before we...
We didn't even get into anything. 5 minutes is too short.
Okay, well, let's say 2 more minutes. These questions that were posed in our mutual friend's blog post, why do some of us let it fall by the wayside? Is it about shame? Is it about youth culture? How do we feel ecstasy until the day we die? Thoughts?
my thought is like, it has to be a priority, right? Like you have to think of it as a priority in your life. And if it's like, and where did you get the belief? Like, do you have like some cutoff age? Like, I think that's the other part that's interesting. When you're young, you're like, oh, I can't imagine people having sex in their 70s. But also, like,
grandma getting busy.
But also, like, first of all, like, I don't know, Instagram has decided that I need to see all this content, and there's so much content. So you're like, okay, well, these things are actually happening. And I also, now that I'm like approaching 50, I can't imagine being like 60 and like, and just be like, okay, there's a day that it's done. Like on your 64th birthday, like it's over. That doesn't make any sense either.
Agreed. And now we've run out of time. So if you think this is a fun conversation, we would like for you to like, share, and comment in the comments. This is a risky topic. I like this topic. We might have to come back for a part 2, maybe.
I think we're going to have to come for, we didn't get anywhere, so we're going back for a part 2 probably.
Okay.
So,
and if you're brave enough to share something, or if you don't want to share it publicly, you want to DM us, we promise to keep it anonymous. We promise to keep your comments confidential if you like. We're happy to be having this conversation with you, and I'm just having a blast. I don't know about you.
Always, baby, always.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good Wednesday.